Welcome back to another lesson of East Maine 101. I'm your facilitator, City of Jackson, Tennessee Communications Director Kenneth Cummings. And for lesson 29, I am joined with City of Jackson, Tennessee's 311 team lead, Debbie Click. Debbie, welcome to East Maine 101. I was about to say welcome to 311. All these numbers here in the City of Jackson. Welcome to East Maine 101. I'm excited to have you on to put a face with the voice of 311, one of the voices of 311.
Right.
Welcome to East Maine 101, Debbie. I'm glad to have you on. So first off, let's just kind of jump off. Who is Debbie Click, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a grandmother. I have 4 children. They range from age 37 to 5. We have a little bit of an extended family. Mm-hmm. My husband and I have been married for 37 years. Our oldest is actually 36. I couldn't think. We attend church here in Jackson. I've grown up in Jackson since I was 12 years old. I moved from Chicago to Jackson. I graduated from Southside High School and went to West Tennessee Business College for office administration. So
we got a Hawk here in East Maine 101. Go Hawks. So you come from Chicago.
I do.
So what brought you to Jackson, Tennessee?
My dad's family was from Jackson, Tennessee. So when my grandfather retired, my father decided to move here and bring all of us with him.
So do you have any memories of Chicago? Or?
Not very many, and we didn't go back.
You didn't go back to Chicago. Have you ever been back to visit? Or
no.
No family really in Chicago. So
no.
Everybody was here in Jackson.
Yeah, so everybody was here. So we would come here in the summertime, spend times with my great-grandmother and my grandfather's family, and my dad loved it here, so we would always come back.
So you as growing up here in Jackson, I know you've seen the transition of the growth of this city. For you, what does that mean?
There's a lot of change. Like, I remember when Van Drive was all trees, and when Country Club wasn't there, mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of stuff going on Van Drive and building. And I remember when there was only like the church that's on the corner of Country Club and Van Drive, and then a few other things. But then out south there was a Chat and Chew, which is really aging. But and then the south side, and we didn't have very many restaurants or fast food or anything like that.
So I think I remember seeing one picture of North Jackson or beyond the interstate right when Walmart was built. So there used to be kind of, I guess, like a frontage road that led to Walmart before all of that was built. So just trees, just nothing out that way?
Nothing. There was trees. Lots of trees.
So I moved here, I'd say this all the time. I moved here in 2010, and I've seen, the growth that we had when, I used to travel the interstate. I went to Tennessee State in Nashville, so I would travel through Jackson. Honestly, all I knew was the McDonald's sign. I knew there was Chick-fil-A, Walmart, Best Buy. When I started working for the Jackson Sun, the directions told me to come south. I had no idea all of this was out here. So back then, South Jackson up to downtown, all that was really Jackson, Tennessee at that
right.
time.
Yeah.
So what are some of your fondest memories of growing up here in Jackson?
I was in the band, so I got to be in Southside's band and march in the Strawberry Parade and do the things like skip schools for the Strawberry Parade, like what everybody likes to do. We rode horses at Melissa's Park before Melissa's was actually a park with a playground and all that. Mm-hmm. My parents owned land there, and we had our horses there. And I have a horse that's buried over all that property, which is bad because it was in the city. It wasn't in the city limits though at the time.
So it's probably grandfathered in now.
Yeah, it's grandfathered.
Okay. We won't tell Stan or Greg and Bill and Coast that there's a horse buried somewhere out there. We're not going to tell, or Tony Black record. We're not going to tell them that there's a horse buried out there somewhere. So you sent me a bio earlier, and it said that you were kind of in the legal field for about 30 years. Tell us about that.
Well, I had went to an attorney's office for a different reason, and when I got there, the man said, do you need a job? And I said, well, not really, but he said, well, how about you try out for my paralegal? And I said, okay, I'll try. I said, I can't type. And that was in 1993, and he gave me the opportunity to start learning how to be a paralegal, and so I did, and then it was a hot commodity back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed with him for several years, and then I went to the last law firm that I was at until I came to work for the city.
So did you ever want to go into law or like?
I did. When I was in college, I wanted to go into criminal. I wanted to be a legal secretary at that time, but I could. At that time, you had to do shorthand, which a lot of people probably don't know what it is. But I was not fast enough at the shorthand.
Mm-hmm.
But the person that I went to work for in 1993 was an older gentleman, and he liked the fact that I could do shorthand even if it wasn't very fast. Okay. So he gave me the opportunity to train.
So in what kind of steered you away from going into the law other than the legal shorthand? Was that one of the main reasons you?
No, it's mostly because I didn't think that I could afford to do that and be in school for 8 years and support myself. And
Gotcha. Totally understand. So for those of you that are watching, listening, you might know this voice from Debbie. She is the voice, one of the voices, again, of our 311 call center. So if you ever dial 311, there's always this joke, this rumor, nobody answers the phone. We actually have a live person, live people answering our phones at our 311 call center. So Debbie, you're now at 311. I know previously you worked in our health and sanitation department. Just kind of tell us, the transition from working there to where you are now, how hard or how easy it was to get those specific phone calls to now getting basically anybody who needs something, they call 311.
Well, at the beginning in health and sanitation, trash was the topic the only topic I had to deal with was that and bulk waste. And so I had to learn the ins and outs of what bulk waste would be picked up and what days people's service were on trash days and if they missed their trash or whatever. Those were the main things I had to do. And at first it was a lot but then after a year or so, you kind of get a hang of it because it is a lot to remember. But then when we went to the 311 call center, it's different when you have to know everything about every department in the city. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know the answer, you pretty much are sending them to that department or taking a message for that department or putting in a work order and sending it to that department so that the problem can get resolved faster and sooner.
So over at the 311 call center, you're not just taking the calls, you're actually putting in those requests that, we have the app where people can do it themselves, but you're essentially that person for those who don't want to necessarily use the app.
Right. Some older people may not want to. So, I don't do well with apps, so I understand when they call me and say they can't navigate it. I say, well, I understand. I can't either. So, but I like to talk to people, so I like to be the voice on the other line. Even if they're not always nice.
And I'm sure there are a few people who are nice out there who don't mind calling and talking. But real quick, if I'm calling 311, what do I hear when I call and let's say you answer the phone? What do I hear? Give us your 311 voice.
My 311 voice.
Yes.
Okay, let me think. I'm not at my desk, so I can't. I have to pretend like I'm picking up my phone. I just say 311 call center. This is Debbie. May I help you?
Perfect. It's a human voice. We get to hear somebody and talk to somebody who knows the city. Essentially, you have to know the city with everything that you're responding to. Of course, it's different from emergency services, which is 911. You handle city services. Kind of give us a rundown of all the calls that you might get.
We usually get animal calls for aggressive dogs, loose dogs, things like that. We get potholes. We get paving questions. We get waste management. Well, we get the city calls about the garbage pickup, and if they weren't picked up or if their routes are delayed, we have to, find out why. We put in all those work orders. We schedule all the bulk waste that people call in and need picked up. I'm trying to think. We do code violations. Those are the ones that we do most of. We do stormwaters. I should have brought a list, but I didn't.
Well, if they go to the app or if they go online 311.jacksontn.gov, they can see all the things.
They can see all the things that we take care of. Yes, sir.
So do you ever get just people who just want to vent to you? They don't even have a request?
Yes.
How often does that happen?
Oh, some days are good, some days are bad. Like sometimes it's one a day, but sometimes it might be, everybody might be on a roll that day and it'd be 3 or 4.
So about how many calls for you personally do you think you get, and for the center as a whole, about how many calls do y'all?
We, the whole 4 of us, we answer between 350 to 400 calls per day in peak season. It's less than that right now. It's 150 to 200 a day. But when it's peak season, when there's lots of like leaves and people are cleaning up their yard, cutting trees, or if we have a storm, it's a lot more than that. So we had a lot in July.
So kind of like the spring cleaning time, and then
Yes.
people getting ready for school to start, or wintertime. Those are kind of peak seasons.
Yeah.
So of all those, I guess, which ones do you think you get the most calls from?
When they're cleaning out, when it's warm but not too warm, and they're cleaning out their yards or getting all the sticks up that they haven't been able to. So that's usually March and April and May is the most of those.
Okay. Tell us about, you said there are 4 of you all in the call center. Kind of tell us about the atmosphere of how you all kind of make it through these 300 calls a day. What do y'all kind of do?
Well, we are all separated by cubicles so that we can keep our volume in. But most of the time, we just take our calls and go on to the next one because it stays pretty steady. We talk back and forth to discuss where something should go, or if it's something that we never handled before, what department we should send it to, or who we should email to try to help us to figure out where the call needs to go. And
I'm one of those recipients of those emails, and you send them to me, and whatever it is, communications wise, we make sure that it gets taken care of. And I'm sure the 4 of you kind of do you keep track of the requests that go into the 311 system?
Yes, there's a tracking system, and then if somebody calls back and says, "I want to know the status of the pothole on such and such road," we can look in there and see if the work order has been entered. It'll have the work order number in there. It'll tell us what if the team has been sent out or if it's in the process. Or if it's been completed, it'll tell us if it's been completed, and then we can tell them what date and it was completed on.
Okay. So overall, how much do you enjoy or not enjoy? How much do you enjoy answering the calls and giving service to the citizens of Jackson?
I enjoy it. I'm one of those people that I'd rather talk to somebody on the phone than to go through all the prompts. Mm-hmm. So when they told us about the call center, I thought, well, that's a good way for people to talk to other people. So I don't have a problem talking. So I enjoy talking to people. So I enjoy my job.
And so I guess what would be do you kind of track how long you're on the phone with? Because I used to work at a call center, and talking is not one of my strongest suits. And they had this, you have to be off the phone by a certain amount of time. But I'm like, what if I'm really trying to help this person? How long do you think y'all are on the phone for? Does it depend on how they call?
Yeah, we do get a report that tells us how many minutes each call was. We get a printout. That's how I know how many we have. Usually the average is, it's not very long. We have to ask their name, their address, their telephone numbers. So it takes a little while to do the bulk waste, because then you have to ask them what they're wanting to be picked up, tell them the sizes and the dimensions of the pile, and tell them if it's something that is in the ordinance that says that we can or cannot pick it up.
So for those who actually use the app and the website, do you all have access to that to make sure everything is typed in correctly?
Yeah, we can pull up the address and see if it's been scheduled or not, because some people call in, or some people put them in as piles that they are reporting for other people, and we can tell if it was done by one of us. We put my people that in my office, we put our initials by it so we know who did it. And then if it wasn't by one of us, then whoever else, if it's inside the city, they put their initials. But the outside, we can tell because they attach a picture. It has to attach a picture. And we don't, of course, we don't have the pictures when we're talking to on the telephone. So we can pretty much tell who scheduled it, and then we can tell in the notes if they scheduled it or not.
So you've been in Jackson almost your whole life. Prior to us getting the 311 call center, 311 system, how has this benefited, do you believe, the city, the residents as a whole, to be able to get these services, to talk to someone, or to just report these services?
I think it's a good option, because people want to talk to somebody, even if they just want to vent. They want to have a person on the other side of the phone, that's listening to them. If you just sit there, my past director in health and sanitation taught me that if you just don't talk and let them talk until they finish, they'll be a whole lot nicer to you. So, so I've learned from her to just be calm, be rational, and just let them get their frustrations out, and then in the end of the conversation, you're going to be helping them, and that's what we're here to do, is to help people.
And as far as the actual services, getting someone and directing them versus having to run around or trying to figure out, for you as a citizen who didn't have it prior to us getting it here for the city, what do you feel like the difference is? How has it benefited, the difference from not having it to now having it?
Yeah, I've heard people say that it's a lot less frustrating, where like you can call and say, I need to know about a business license, and we know where to get you to, and we get you to that person. And then we will also, send them an email if they're not available or at their desk, so that so that way they can respond to you. And people in the city respond back to me when I send them emails, and they tell me I've taken care of this, or if it's something about planning, they'll reach out to the people and answer their questions.
Okay, and you've been here, you live here, you've got kids, you're out and about. Those people who know you, or those people that who use 311, have they come to you and said, how have they come to, I don't want to lead you on to this question, how have they come to you to respond or give you feedback on 311?
Some of them like the app. Some of them don't like the app. But I have people that I'm acquainted with that will send me messages and say, will you put such and such in for a bulk pile for me? Or, if I see somebody out and they know where I work, then they will ask me. But I think being able to talk to people and being able to use the app and be able to do it when you think about it, instead of having to wait and think, I'll call Monday between 8 and 5 to put in my request for a bulk waste pile. If you can just use the app when you're right there and you remember it, then it's helpful. So
for the residents who don't either have the app or don't know about 311, I'm not sure how they don't know about 311, we put it everywhere. What advice would you give them about how beneficial this service is for them?
It gives you quicker access to get things done that you need done. Like if you need a bulk waste pile picked up and it's not peak season, then usually health and sanitation, when you call and have it scheduled or you use the app, can get you within 2 days. But if you wait and you put your stuff out there, somebody from codes might come by and say, hey, did you call this in or did you put it in the app? Otherwise, we're going to give you so many days to do it.
Right.
So it's better to be able to take care of it yourself and do it right when you're thinking about it.
So you think it truly is a benefit for citizens, not just for talking to somebody, but getting, a request that they put in, a service that they need, an issue that they have, having someone to talk to or put in an app. You believe that this service is beneficial for those citizens?
Yeah, the citizens of Jackson, I think, benefit from the service because it's a faster way to get your answers to what you need, and nobody really wants to wait for what they want to know about right now. Everybody wants everything fast. So
I totally understand. Even though I worked for government, prior to having 311, didn't know who to call. We had the 425 city, but I think it wasn't a specific call center it went to somebody who had to get to somebody who probably wasn't the right person. But with the 311 call center, you all know exactly who to get to. And if you don't, you'll find out. Correct. And make sure that the resident citizens who utilize this, get the information that they need.
Right. And it's all about taking care of the citizens, and we want them to be happy. So
that's right. So 311 call center, Debbie Click, the team lead, the 311 call center. Again, this voice, if you've called 311, she's one of the voices that you've heard to take care of the issues that you may have here in the city. Again, it's not the emergency. You always dial 911 for emergencies. But if you got potholes, you want to report, a bulk waste pile or anything like that, you can dial 311, or you can visit 311.jacksontn.gov to go to the app to report your issue online. Debbie, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you for coming on. I know you get stuck in that cubicle all day from 8 to 5, but I'm glad to have you on so people can see your face and hear your voice, to know that there's someone actually to talk to if they have an issue here in the city of Jackson.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you. So before we go, of course, I always have what we call a pop quiz. It's 3 questions that I ask my guests just to get to know them a little better. So let's start off. Pop quiz question number 1. What is the funniest call or the most outlandish call that you've ever received?
People want to know if you could have roosters in the city limits.
Roosters in the city.
Or chickens.
Rooster, that we've had that come up on city council meeting maybe a few months ago, a while ago. People are still asking about chickens and roosters.
Yeah, you can have chickens, but you can't have the roosters.
So I had no idea anything about this. So
Me neither.
Before when you moved here, was that something chickens and roosters were okay to have, or do you know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I never would have thought that you could have a chicken in the city limits, but nowadays with the price of eggs, I guess.
I guess. I got to go buy some soon. So chickens and roosters, that's probably the craziest call you've ever gotten. Wow. I would think it would be something else. Something that's probably not on I don't think that is on the app. You can't report chickens or roosters. Yeah, do people call in and report them if they hear them?
Yeah. They want to complain.
Okay.
And they want... It goes to codes to see if
chickens or roosters. Well, all right. So you also, again, you sent me your bio earlier, and one of the things it says is you enjoy lifting weights and exercising. What is your favorite exercise to do?
Oh, I don't think I have a favorite one. I like to do arms, and things like that. But I had a weight loss journey, and so after in my 50s. And I was, obese until I was in my about late 50s. So once you lose weight, you have to keep on maintaining it. So right. I like to lift weights to help with the
maintaining. Hey, look, I'm a gym goer. I love working out, and it's just something about it. Once you get hooked onto it, you see the progress and you just want to keep it.
Yeah, and people don't understand. They say, "Oh, I'm so tired, I can't go," but it makes you feel better. Go.
Right. When I'm tired, those are actually the best times. When I'm tired, I'm like, I don't even feel like it. I push through, and it's just like I'm sweaty, and I'm just like, wow, I just feel so much better. I was tired before, but I agree. If you get a chance, get out there and do some kind of exercise. Whether you're just walking, running, do something.
Right.
Pop quiz question number 3 is just a fun one. If you had the choice of one meal every day, what would that meal be?
Cheeseburger and French fries.
Cheeseburger and French fries. Anything on it? Any toppings or anything?
No, everything.
everything. So you mentioned a place, I guess it was in South Jackson. What was the name of it?
Oh, it was called the Chat and Chew, and they would bring the food to you to your car.
So it's kind of like a Sonic
a drive.
now? Okay.
Yeah, like a drive-in thing like Sonic, but it was, old time. You couldn't, they would bring it out and put the tray on your window. You had to roll your windows.
Nice. So do you have a favorite cheeseburger?
Oh, mine is the favorite is Wendy's.
Wendy's cheeseburgers. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever kind of make your own or?
Oh, my husband does.
Okay.
I'm not the cook. My
So
husband
Wendy's or your husband's?
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, my husband's definitely.
Okay. All right. Just husband, if you're here, it's always going to be yours. Your
Yeah.
cheeseburger over Wendy's. So again, Debbie Click, thank you again for coming on East Main 101. You are an asset, you and the team at 301 Call Center. Y'all are assets to the city of Jackson to assist with city services for the citizens of this city. So thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So that does it for lesson 29 of East Main 101. Don't forget to follow us on all of our government social media accounts and opt into our text alerts by visiting connect.jacksontn.gov. Also, be sure to visit eastmain101.jacksontn.gov to subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast channels to listen to each lesson in its entirety. Until next lesson, class dismissed.